And for the second programme in our series, visiting some of the young musicians on their home territory who travelled to the Royal Albert Hall in London for the school's proms last November, I've come today here to the King Edward VI College in Stourbridge, which is about 12 miles outside Birmingham. And in fact, we've got an all-Stourbridge programme for you today because all the young musicians you're going to be seeing come from in and around the Stourbridge area. And they all exemplify the spirit of the school's proms in that they play pretty well all kinds of music. For instance, at their own instigation, 18 Stourbridge youngsters got together to form the Youth Swing Band, with the object of playing some of the big band swing music of the 30s and also some of the brighter pieces from the 1980s. And that's what they're going to do for us right now. The Stourbridge Youth Swing Band, they're going to be joined on stage for a bit of a blow by that great trumpet virtuoso, Kenny Baker. As I mentioned earlier on, one of the great things about this school is the tremendous variety of music being made here at the King Edward VI College. And I've come inside the hall of the school now to meet the piano quintet, three of whose members took part in the string quartet at the Royal Albert Hall in London at the school's proms last November. First of all, let's talk to Robert Bishop. Now, Robert, what was that piece you were rehearsing there?
That was a Schumann piano quintet in E-flat.
And within the range of chamber music, you cover quite a lot of ground, don't you? A lot of modern stuff and a lot of the standard stuff.
Oh yes, in the Albert Hall last year we played Shostakovich, which is It's very modern music, and for a young quartet, I think we did quite well, actually, although I say it myself.
And now, Heather Raybould, you were at the Albert Hall in London last November. How was the experience for you? Was it a nerve-wracking one?
Yes, it was. Just the four of us in the middle of the arena and so many people around. It was really frightening, but we coped all right.
And I think it was the first time the school had a string quartet down there, hadn't it?
Yes, we've had an orchestra, but not a quartet.
Yeah. How many hours rehearsal did you put in to get yourselves to peak condition last year?
I don't know, lots.
Now, David Knight, you were with them there that glamorous night at the Albert Hall last year. How did you feel on the night?
Well, I felt equally as nervous as Heather. It's not so bad in the orchestra when you're on the stage, but being in the quartet, you're actually in the middle, and they're all sort of standing around. It's certainly nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I'm sure it must be. One thing has always baffled me. It's probably a totally daft question, David. Do tell me. In a quintet like this, or a quartet, where there is no conductor, how on earth do you know how to all start at the same time?
Well, in a quartet or a quintet, normally the first violin is designated as the leader, and he gives some audible indication, and our bows all come down together, hopefully.
So let's recall that big night at the Royal Albert Hall in London last year as we listen once again to the King Edward VI College String Quartet playing the fourth movement of the Shostakovich. string quartet. We move on now to the King Edward VI College Orchestra. And with me here is its conductor, John Griswold. Now, Stourbridge was well represented, wasn't it, at the school's proms last year?
Yes, indeed. Something from Stourbridge on each night of the prom. The college quartet on the Monday, the orchestra and the Stourbridge Youth Swing Band on the Tuesday, and the Stourbridge Concert Band on the Wednesday.
So what is the reason for that then, John? Do they put something in the water in Stourbridge to breed young musicians?
No, I think we are very lucky in that there's a tremendous amount of music going on. It starts in the primary schools, then in the secondary schools, and a marvellous bunch of teachers, peripatetic instrumental teachers, who seem to bring this talent forward.
Now, when the college orchestra was playing last year, you included a world premiere, didn't you, in your programme?
Yes.
What was it?
It was called Uprising by Jacques Lussier. It was written specially for the occasion, and we were the lucky orchestra to be invited to go and play with him.
Yeah, what was he like to work with?
Tremendous. So easy to get on with. Very precise in his demands. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he knew, you know, when someone was not quite in tune and the rhythms weren't quite right.
So let's hear it now then, shall we? The King Edward VI College Orchestra, and they're playing Jacques Lussier's composition, a world premiere entitled Uprising. There's a marvellous piece of work with Jacques Lussier there, a thing entitled Uprising. Now, Robert Bishop, you were there playing in that orchestra. What was the feeling playing with a world-class musician like Lussier?
Well, it's absolutely fantastic. The applause we got at the end, I think it was mainly for him. He was really outstanding. And the piece he composed, it was just right for the occasion, really. It was very romantic and dramatic, and he certainly got a good applause. And
yeah, as a musician, did you find the piece technically difficult to play?
Not too demanding. The violin parts actually were quite hard, but as an orchestral piece, it wasn't too demanding, I don't think.
Where does your future lie, Robert? Do you hope to have a professional career in music?
Well, I hope to, actually. I'm going to the Royal College of Music in London. Well, whether I would like to join an orchestra. Whether I do is, well, present climate, we don't know.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed
Yeah.
anyway. You're pretty busy as a musician at the moment. We saw you earlier on in the quartet. We've just seen you in the orchestra. You're also in another band here as well, aren't you?
Yes, I'm in Stourbridge concert band. Mr. Saunders, John Saunders, that played last year as well on the Alps Hall.
Yeah, now we're here at King Edward VI College, but that concert band is not purely based from children from here, is it?
No, it isn't. It's from Stourbridge Borough, actually.
I've also got with me two other members of the Stourbridge concert band, that's Sarah and Duncan. Tell me what sort of music you play in the band.
Well, we play a wide scope, really, but we've been concentrating on the more modern stuff, you know, the American influenced kind of music. But we do play, you know, classical, light classical. We play everything, really.
Which sort of music do you enjoy most, Sarah?
Prefer the modern stuff. I like it all, but modern stuff sort of prefer that bit more.
Yeah. How often do you all get together? Because, as I say, you're all from different schools around the area. Is it once a week, twice a week, or what?
It's once a week on a Sunday morning rehearsal.
And you find that's enough, do you?
Yeah, if we've got anything coming up, we usually have extra rehearsals for that.
Yeah, because you've done some big things. You've done a lot of concerts locally, but you also did some big things in Germany, I gather, too.
Oh, yeah, we went to Germany for a 4-day tour last year. It's playing an international music festival, which was quite enjoyable.
Yeah, do you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
Well, the leading light behind the concert band, if I can put it that way, is the musical director, John Saunders. Now, you're the founder member of the band, I gather.
No, it was actually started by two other gentlemen before I came to work in the Stourbridge area.
But you're still the driving force behind it.
I carry all the can for it, yes.
And you're what is described as a peripatetic teacher. Tell me what that involves in your daily life, John.
Travelling from school to teach brass instruments. I do 7 different schools in the Stourbridge area.
I see. And for these instruments, to set up a band like a concert band must be a pretty expensive business. Who pays for the instruments? Do the children and parents buy them or what?
Mums and dads, yes, they're mainly responsible for them. The specialist instruments, either the authority help us a little bit or the band themselves, the parents that help us run the bands, help us to provide the music, especially for the rather strange ones like E-flat alto clarinets, and we're even now purchasing a contra alto clarinet, which is an unusual instrument, and you can't really ask people to go out and buy one if they haven't even heard of them, let alone about seen them.
So the interest of the children in music is costing the parents quite a lot for arrangements and copying
yes.
and music and instruments and
We
uniforms.
do know of people that have actually remortgaged the house to provide instruments.
Thank you very much indeed, John. Now let's hear the Stourbridge Concert Band in action. They're playing a piece called Un Poco Cinco. mentioned earlier on, many of the young musicians here in Stourbridge play in many of the different orchestras. And I've got two such musicians with me here now. Alan, we saw you earlier on. You were playing trombone in Disco Kid. What other orchestras do you play in?
Well, I play in Dudley School's orchestra and the college orchestra. Apart from that, we've got the college wind band and octet. And apart from that, we've got the Stourbridge Music Association, which runs a group of bands, out of which I play in the swing band and the concert band.
Okay, well, we'll be seeing the swing band again in a moment. Let's just have a word with Justin. What's your instrument, Justin?
Yeah, I play trumpet.
Yeah, and who else do you play with apart from the swing band?
I play with the concert band, all the things that are on at college, the octet, the sextet, the chamber music groups, the orchestra and the wind band. And I'm playing for big band jazz with Pete Cater and the Roaring Eighties big band, my Joe and bands like that.
Where on earth do you find the time to do all this? I mean, you're doing maths and French and the usual academic things as well. Is it difficult finding the time?
Well, it's just sometimes when all the commitments build up into 1 week, but we usually sort of sit there and doing maths homework in our 50 bars rest when we're not playing.
Now, I gather the formation of this swing band was at your own instigation, is that right?
Yes, well, if you want to take that one.
Sorry, yeah. Well, vaguely, it was an idea suggested by a few of the members to Mr. Saunders, who's the musical director, and he said he'd be prepared to run it, and it's taken off, and now there's even a junior swing band being formed a few weeks ago.
And we saw Kenny Baker briefly earlier on with the band too. How did he come to be involved with you?
I think it was, they wanted a celebrity to play on one of each nights of the proms, so they decided on the Tuesday, I think it was, to have Kenny Baker down, and he said he'd like to play with the swing band. So we did his Mission 459.
And what did he think of the band?
Oh, well, hopefully he thought it was very good.
So then, to end our all-Stourbridge programme here today, let's rejoin our young orchestra and the seasoned professional. It's the Stourbridge Youth Swing Band, and the soloist is Kenny Baker. Kenny's playing one of his own compositions, as you heard, called Mission 459.
School's Prom is presented by Music for Youth in conjunction with the Rank organisation. Over